I'd follow different reporters around and I'd say, can I try when you're done? Can I get in front of the camera? And they'd be like, sure. So thank you to all those reporters I harassed.
I roll, sure.
Yeah, sure. They're like, sure, get in here. Fine. Don't bother me, kiddo. I saved enough money to get a resume tape together. Because I didn't have, as I mentioned at UCLA, there wasn't a department where you can record a resume reel where you could pretend to be a reporter. And I saved enough money to put a resume reel together, but I took a part-time job as an assignment editor at a local news station where you would sit at the desk and you would news gather. Arguably the most important job, but they let a 21-year-old do it. I think something's wrong with the newsroom.
How did you get the job?
I just applied. I said, hey, I just graduated from UCLA. I want to be a reporter.
Work for nothing?
And no, it was basically nothing.
Yeah.
They were like, well, you can work weekend nights, listening to scanners and dispatching our reporters. It was such a huge responsibility. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was like, sure, sounds good to me. And I remember at night, here I am, 21 years old, working with another young lady who wanted to be a reporter. We had no idea what we were doing. And there was a folder that would be given to us of local news stories that we could cover. And then you were also supposed to listen to the scanners to see if there was like a 187, a murder, or you would learn what the codes were. And believe it was just such a huge responsibility, but they gave this position to people who were just starting out because no one wants to work the assignment desk. It's just such a thankless position. And I worked and figured out while working the assignment desk what was considered news, what was worthy of local news. I was news gathering and I didn't even know it. But what it taught me was to be able to identify what might be interesting depending on the market that you lived in. And I put this reel together. I'd follow different reporters around and I'd say, can I try when you're done? Can I get in front of the camera? And they'd be like, sure. So thank you to all those reporters I harassed.
I roll, sure.
Yeah, sure. They're like, sure, get in here. Fine. Don't bother me, kiddo. Literally. I mean, because it's a tough business.
That's what it takes, though. I mean, I feel like hustle in this industry is so necessary.
You can't do it any other way.
Yes.
And that's when people are like, you're so tough. I'm like, I'm learning. I'm a chip off the old block. You learn to navigate this world that way. And then I put a resume reel together, and I had 10 resume reels. I only could afford 10. And I sent the very last one out to West Virginia, and I got the job. And they said, do you want to start next week? And I was like, well, I'm in California. And I said, well, what's the move package? Well, we don't have a move package, but we can. It was like something like $300. So I packed up my Nissan Altima and traveled across country and started my job as a one-man band. And that's how I got in the business, y'all.
I recently read Katie Couric's book. Very similar. It's like you find whoever will take you.
Anybody.
And then you have to put in the time. It's all about experience.
That's it.
Yeah, and just being in front of camera, learning what works, what doesn't work.
And by the way, she was also someone I wanted to be when I first started.
Oh, yeah.
I cut my hair short like hers. I wore blazers. I stood in front of the camera. I was going to be Katie Couric, y'all. Nobody was going to tell me what I could not do. Katie Couric was going to be my local news hero. Oprah ultimately the vision, but that was a talk show. But when you talk about news, Katie Couric all the way.